Your first look at high school football scores and highlights. This is First Down Friday Night with the WZDX Sports Team. Sponsored by Steak and Shake and Kennedy & Sons Structural Solutions.
First Down Friday Night in full swing once again right here on WZDX. Mo Carter and Charity Chambers in the building to bring you a handful of games tonight from across the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, region play is warming up for all of our local teams, and one local team that started off region play on the right foot was James Clemens. They beat arch rival Bob Jones last week.
Absolutely. Tonight the Jets continued region play with Huntsville, and they jumped out to a very big lead, as you can see. This is midway through the second quarter, but Huntsville, they're trying to fight back. Jackson Glover, their quarterback, stepping back to pass and finds Hayden Neighbors for the 20-yard score. That cuts into the lead, making it 27-14. But it wouldn't take the Jets long to respond. Thanks to this young man, it is Jamil Muhammad. We've talked about this guy all week long. He rolls out and finds Austin McGee in the flat for a long touchdown right there, 50 yards to be exact, 34-14 at that point. Now Huntsville with the ball once again. Glover trying to run around and make something happen, looking for a man, but he takes too much time, and he is sacked by Courtney Coleman on that play. Huntsville would punt, and James Clemens would find a way to add more points to the board, even though this drive starts at the 3-yard line. They're on the 25. What do? You give it to number 7, Jamil Muhammad. 75 yards later, guess where he's going, Charity?
He's going to the end zone.
Exactly. House call right there for a touchdown, 41-14 at that point. This game actually is still going on, everyone, but let's show you the score that we got last. Right now, James Clemens is smoking Huntsville by a final of 62, by a score of 62-19 in the fourth quarter. It's safe to say they'll go ahead and get that victory next week. For James Clemens, they'll travel to Florence, while Huntsville taking on Sparkman. Now, speaking of Florence, Bob Jones out there at Florence tonight. Of course, they both have a region loss already, making this game very important. But the Falcons definitely wanted it more tonight, it seemed. But Bob Jones starts out really well. Caden Rose looking for someone, and he finds Michael Riley wide open in the flat for a score. Patriots go up 6-0. Extra point was no good. Very next drive, it's the Falcons with the ball. DeMarcus Beckwith hands it off to Jaquilmar Coleman, and then he gets it to Kadarius Thompson. It's a double reverse, everyone. Thompson finds the end zone for a touchdown. Extra point was good, so they lead the Patriots 7-6. All right, continuing on, Bob Jones with a possession again. This time it's Rose hitting Riley once again, and Riley busts free into the end zone for a score. His second touchdown of the night. The Patriots actually go for 2 points this time. Rose running around, and he's got his man. He goes straight to Riley. Why not, everyone? The Rose to Riley connection was working tonight early on. They led 14-7 at that point. But check out your final score, everyone, as Florence comes back to win by a final of 39-28. Bob Jones will be facing off against Gadsden City next week, while Florence takes on James Clemens.
The number 8 was significant in tonight's Sparkman versus Grissom game. The Senators' defense is only allowing 8 points a game, while Grissom running back Mel Densler already has 8 touchdowns on the year. Something have to give. We're going to kick things off in the first half. Score tied at 0, but the Tigers are charging down the field, and it is a fumble, though. Senators recover with the ball, but they would not be able to capitalize on that. Their next drive, though, things are starting to look up for them. Hunter Martin, he finds Rondell Cole. Look at him go. That would be good for a first down. And the very next play, watch this. Martin, he's going to hand it off to Adrian Redis. Some good blocking. Look at him go. He would be brought down inside the 5-yard line. That's a first and goal for Sparkman.
Put the spin cycle on him, Charity.
Yeah, Peak once again. Hands it off to Redis. This time he runs it right into the end zone. Senators up to a 7-0 lead with about 7 minutes to go in the first half. Let's go ahead and take a look at that score. Sparkman would actually win a close one. 17-13, the Senators will face off against Huntsville. Grissom will go head-to-head against Austin. Now out to Randolph. We're a really high-scoring game, lots of actions. Let's get right to it. A night of power duos for both teams. Priceville starts off with the ball. Brock Payne, he scrambles. He tosses it to Grayson Clark, and he would get the first down. The ball is on the move. Now, the ball's on the 2, and they take it in for an easy score, 7-0 Bulldogs. Now it's time for Randolph to show the magic, and their power pair was quarterback Jeffrey Copeland. He's going to pass it to Luke Allison, and look at the footwork on Allison. Nice play there. Next play, going to Allison again. This time, he's finding the end zone. That would be good for 7. They tied the game 7-7. Priceville They get it back, and it's their dynamic duo again. Payne tosses it to Grissom, and this is for another touchdown.
Nothing but space and opportunity in front of him.
Exactly. And finally, we have to show you some fancy footwork from Copeland. Watch this next play. He's going to step over, and woo! Look at that. Makes him miss. And once again, that would be, Allison would actually go on for the touchdown, putting the Raiders up 16-14. Let's take a look at that final score. Randolph would end up winning 47-21. Priceville will take on Fairview next week. Randolph will face off against Danville.
All right, of course, don't forget WZDX Sports Team is on social media. Follow us on Twitter at Mo Carter WZDX, at Charity WZDX. Send us a tweet. We might read it out later on the air. Now, coming up next on WZDX First Down Friday night, we've got the Spirit of the Week, and we've got some 6A action, which features Hartselle and Shoals, along with Decatur and Athens. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to First Down Friday night. It's time for our Spirit of the Week, which is brought to you by the great people at Steak and Shake. Of course, they hooked us up once again, right, Charity?
Of course, they always do. So tell us, who does this week's Spirit of the Week go out to?
This week's Spirit of the Week goes out to the Guntersville Crimson Guard Marching Band. They were selected as our Spirit of the Week right here on First Down Friday night. The band is under the direction of Mr. Corey Hyman. This year's musical themes features music from The Nightmare Before Christmas and other holiday-themed music. Besides football games, the band will perform at the Marshall County Band Exhibition, the Sand Mountain Invitational, and the Jacksonville State Contest of Champions. Congratulations to the Guntersville Crimson Guard Marching Band on being selected as our Spirit of the Week right here in Week 3. Charity?
Now back to some football action. There was a huge 6A battle out west tonight. 3-0 Hartselle took on 3-0 Shoals. Both of these love to put up big numbers. The Trojans average about 41 points a game, while Hartselle is putting up 28 points. The winner of the contest would get an early lead in the region. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Shoals is actually hosting Hartselle tonight, but we're diving straight into the fourth quarter. Shoals, they lead at this point 14-0. They find themselves in field goal position, so they decide to go for it. Andres Rios Nava is up for the kick. It goes up, but it falls short. The Trojans still up 14-0. The next drive, Hartselle's ball, Luke Godzi. He launches one down to Connor Tomlinson. He makes the catch, but Jacob Peters takes him down right before he can get into the end zone, but that is a Tigers first down in the red zone. Second down now. The Tigers definitely in scoring position. Godzi hands it off to Ian Bodine, but the Trojans defense stops him right in his tracks. The Tigers stay right where they are. And this time, Godzi, he's going to rush backwards. He's looking for an open man, dodges some Trojans. He's going to throw it up, and it's Bodine.
Fair, right?
Yes, he comes in and runs it in
for
the Tigers' first touchdown. They would finally get on the board 14-7. Let's go ahead and take a look at that score. Hartselle, they would win a very close one. Look at that, Mo. 15-14.
Very, very tight one out there in the Shoals.
Yes, Shoals traveling to Huntsville next week to take on Jemison, and Hartselle has a bye week. Now, over Decatur and Athens, they are facing off in another key game, and that's 6A Regional. About 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Decatur is up 21-14 over Athens. Logan Smothers slices it up the middle for a nice run, and they just keep driving down the field. Jacoby Boykin, he gets his engine running, breaks a few tackles, and a few plays later, Smothers, what's he going to do? He calls his own number again, and he's going to run it in for the score.
All you got to do is hit that pylon.
You have to. Extra point would be no good.
There are the flags.
You got to love the celebration. On the next possession, Decatur with the ball. Pass completed to Shea DuBois, but watch this. He's going to be stripped of the ball by Sladen Black. Sladen Black also recovers it too. This could be a huge momentum shift for the Golden Eagles. Fans are loving that.
Defensive play right there.
Yes, it's 4th and 14. Watch this. Smothers. He launches it up to Braden Goss. Nicely placed. That's a touchdown, giving Athens a 26-21 lead going into the half. Let's go ahead and take a look at that score. Athens, they would win it 29-27. A lot of close games tonight, Mo.
Very, very close games tonight. But hey, you know, to the victor goes the ball. So congratulations to the Golden Eagles on that one.
Yes, Athens will take on Hazel Green next week. Decatur will take on Lee.
All right. Let's take you down to Grant, Alabama for DAR, taking on North Jackson. These two high-powered offenses going at it. In the first, North Jackson's Tanner Woodall gets the ball and takes it all the way inside the 10-yard line, and he would set up his team in a very good position. Now, Woodall eventually will give it to Lee Witherspoon, who takes it in for the score. It's now 7-0 North Jackson. All right, let's keep going on this one. DAR's quarterback, he is stacked right there, and he would fumble. That's Will Bailey. Actually, no, that's not Will Bailey on that one. How about this? Let's just give it back to Witherspoon once again, and he will find the open space, gets along the sidelines, and just chucks the deuces, because that's another touchdown right there. That makes it 14-7. Still in the first quarter. Guess who they're going to give the ball to once again? Well, you know the quarterback's not going to get the ball here. Actually, DAL's running back takes it right up the gut for a score right there to kind of cut some things into it. Let's check out your score right now. Final score from out there at DAL. Actually, an updated score. This one's not over either, but North Jackson is rolling right now. Looks like they're easily going to go on to win this one. They were on top 61-27 the last time we checked them. Then North Jackson will take on St. John Paul next week. DAR will take on West Morgan. We've got more coming up on First Down Friday night, including a trip over to Discovery Middle School. We'll check in with the St. John Paul Falcons. That's coming up next.
Now, more scores and highlights from across the valley on First Down Friday night.
Welcome back to the show. Charity, what would you do if you were a team that lost 30-plus games on the football field?
Well, Bo, I remember I actually talked to you about how my high school team, we lost all our games in 1 year, so I can kind of, it's not a good feeling. I hate it.
So you figured that morale would be down, right?
Yes.
Well, that was the case for St. John Paul last year, but then they beat Clemens. Then all of a sudden this year, they were able to beat not one, not two, but three teams in a row. Locust Fork, East Lawrence, and Priceville. Now they're 3-0. Tonight they went for 4-0. South Discovery Middle School tonight. The Falcons looking for the fourth straight victory against Fairview. So let's take you out there for all the action. And here come the Falcons. The Falcons defense coming up big. Dane Black was sacked by Connor Sisk right here on the play. Good defensive effort there. But the Aggies of Fairview would not be fazed by that sack. Black calling his own number, and he goes untouched for a 50-yard touchdown. And the Fairview Aggies take a 7-0 lead over St. John Paul II. It was kind of slow until about maybe the latter part of the second quarter. Antoine Sledge takes the handoff. Watch him kind of miss a few tackles, and then he'll dive for the end zone. Is he in? Is he not in? Referees say yes. So let's take a look at the slow-mo replay. Emphasis on Mo. He gets it. That is in there for a score touchdown. We were tied up at 7 apiece at the break.
Good call, refs.
Very, very good call on that one. Let's check out your final score in this one. Unfortunately, a bigger second half from Fairview. They end St. John Paul's undefeated streak by a final score of 28-13. Next week, St. John Paul will take on North Jackson. Fairview will be facing off against Priceville.
Now over to Lewis Cruz Stadium. Hazel Green taking on Lee. And I just got to warn you, this game wasn't even pretty at the half score, 43-7. Lee Generals kicking off at the beginning of the third quarter. Brandon Bryant, he kicks it to Chauncey Andrews. That may not have been a good idea. He was being patient with it, and then he says, I'm not playing with y'all. He hits the outside, has some great blocking, and look at him go.
They always talk about follow your blocks, follow your blocks, follow your blocks. Perfect example. What happens when you do that?
There. No one touched him. He is in the end zone. Trojans go up 50-7. Now, after a touchback, the Generals' first play in the second half on offense, a high snap.
Oh, no.
Noah Watkins tries to get to it, but some crazy bounces. The Trojans recover, putting them inside the 10-yard line. This was their first play. Very next play, Chase Starling with a screen pass to Deontay Bugchamp, and actually this is after the kickoff.
So they scored.
They scored. They went down and scored, and now this is kickoff for the Generals, and look at him go. Looks like he's going to find the end zone. He cuts across the middle. He's actually going to be taken out at about in the red zone, maybe about the 10-yard line. And look at this. A couple of plays later, they hand it off, and he would go ahead and find the end zone. We've got to show some good plays for them. They had a couple of good plays, but overall, you know, Trojans just showing no mercy. And let's go ahead and take a look at that final score. 78, lead 35. Like I said, it's not pretty.
Man, high-scoring affair there. High-scoring affair over at Lewis Cruz Stadium as well. May Jemison playing host to Fort Payne. This game just went final. Let's bring you all the action. Early on, Fort Payne's quarterback, it's number 1, Matthew Penholster, finds his man in the end zone for a touchdown. So all of a sudden, Fort Payne's up 7-0. And yes, we're going to keep rolling with this one. That touchdown was hauled in by Michael Hall. So Here we go. Now, Mae Jemison on the other side. Now, watch number 11. That is Keyshawn Davis. Leap over a man and finds pay dirt for a score. He ties the ball game up at 7 apiece. Back in the fourth, fair we go. It's still 7-7. Once again, it's Matthew Penholster stepping back to pass. He just wants to go for the jugular charity. So he throws it deep down the field, and his prayer is caught for a touchdown right there. On that one, very, very great play there. So now it is 27-20, Fort Payne. Damon Eason running the read option, calls his own number, and Eason finds the end zone to tie the ball game up at 27 apiece. Late in the game, Fort Payne gets a touchdown, kicks the extra point, and they go on to beat Mae Jemison. Let's check out your final score in this one as high score in the fair at Louis Cruz Stadium. Final score, Fort Payne 48. Mae Jemison 47. Of course, these two teams will be back in action next week. Now, of course, each and every week we highlight one of the best performances a Tennessee Valley football player did on the field, rewarding with our MVP of the week.
Yeah, and this week's winner was Jamil Muhammad of James Clemens High School. Now, Muhammad helped lead the Jets to their first ever Madison Bowl victory, 36-20. At the half, the Jets trailed 20-14. So head coach Wade Waldrop decided to make a major adjustment and get the Jets rolling on the ground with the run game. Muhammad finished the game with 188 passing yards and 118 rushing yards on 24 carries and 5 total touchdowns, giving James Clemens their first victory of the season.
Jamil ran the ball hard. He ran it a little bit more than what we would like him to do on a Friday night, but man, he did it. Ran hard, ran well.
We just felt like they weren't stopping, what we wanted to do. So we felt like we could just, finish that game and dominate that second half. We just, doing what we do best, and that's, running the ball when someone's getting tired. So that's what we just did. It's pretty, unusual for me to run it that much, but my coach, believed in me, so I appreciate that.
Huge congrats to Jamil.
Now, if you think you know of an athlete that is deserving our First Down Friday Night MVP award, send us an email, news@rocketcitynow.com, with the player's name, the school, the position, most importantly, charity.
The stats. Someone sent us something without the stats last week.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't consider that person. We didn't have any stats. Of course, we will announce the winner every Wednesday night right here on WZDX. There's more First Down Friday Night when we return.
Now back to the action on First Down Friday Night.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. If you're still hungry and you still want something to eat, head over to our friends at Jimmy John's.
Yeah, Matt Kreitzer and his crew are staying open very late to fill your sub needs.
All right, everyone, I want to make a correction. St. John Paul did go on to win 28-13 over Fairview. So congratulations to
guys.
the Falcons. 4-0 on the season. What a turnaround.
That's crazy.
After losing, like we said, 30-something games in a row on the field over the past couple of years. The Falcons are looking good. Now they've got a big one next week against North Jackson, who put up like 75 points tonight. So we'll see what happens with them. Let's stay on the football field, everyone. Elkmont playing host to West Limestone. This was a very, very, very interesting game. Kind of like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Elkmont wins the toss, receives the kick, and West Limestone would get them very, very deep into their territory. Now, here comes Elkmont. Their quarterback, Davis Hobbs, keeps the ball, picks up a nice gain for 12 yards. That's the first down. So, Charity, you are moving these sticks with this one. But a few plays later, Davis Hobbs keeps the ball, and he is stripped by West Limestone, and the Wildcats jump on the ball. They've got great field position, but can they do something with it? The answer is no. They had problems of their own. Both the running and the passing game was just stuffed early on between these two teams. It was 0-0 after the first quarter. Let's check out your final score in this one. West Limestone goes on to win 27-7. Next week, West Limestone takes on Central, while Elkmont actually has a bye.
Over now, Buckhorn taking on Albertville. We're going to get things started in the first quarter. Scores tied at 0. Third down and long for the Aggies. Man in motion, Albertville with the reverse. Watch him go. He's just going to make it look easy. He walks into the end zone, putting them up 6-0.
That play works because the defensive end just lost containment on that play.
And extra point would be no good, but they're still up 6-0. Let's skip to the second quarter now. Aggies looking to score again. Second and goal this time. Benjamin Allen under center. He hands it off to Jacoby Dendy. He's trying to make it in. He would. That's a touchdown. Aggies would actually go for 2, making the score 14-0. And let's go ahead and take a look at your final score. Albertville wins 20-8. Buckhorn will take on Wetumpka. Is that how you say it?
Wetumpka.
Next week, a little close. Albertville will take on Clemens.
All right, let's check out some final scores from around the way. It was East Limestone beating Madison County 48-14, while Westminster blanks Lexington 39-0.
Danville beat West Morgan 35-28. R.A. Hubbard wins 41-20 over Decatur Heritage.
Guntersville beats Scottsboro 21-7, and Madison Academy beats Brewer 45-7. That'll do it for another episode of First Down Friday Night right here on WZDX. For Charity, I'm Mo. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
You've been watching First Down Friday Night, sponsored by Steak and Shake and Kennedy & Sons Structural Solutions.